Welcome to GNB Moments. Today's episode is quite interesting because we're discussing practical entrepreneurship, and I'm here with a seasoned multipreneur in the person of Dr. Chuks Okosi. Welcome to the show, Dr. Chuks.
My pleasure.
Wow, it's very fantastic having you on my show.
Thank you, Miss Johnny.
Thank you. So you've been an entrepreneur for how long now?
For 10 years now.
Okay, so I think you're very ripe for this topic, which is practical entrepreneurship.
That's why I'm an entrepreneur doctor.
Okay, yes, exactly. I forgot to mention that. Mr. Entrepreneur Doctor, you can also find him on all social media handles. But then let's go to the show proper. So, Mr. Entrepreneur, can you please talk to us and give us more insight on this entrepreneurship?
Well, thank you so much, Miss Johnny. Before I went into entrepreneurship, before I started my business 10 years ago, I started my career in banking industry, where I worked for about 7 years. Working in about 4 banks, after which I moved to Corn Oil, where I worked for 2 years before setting up my business. The implication of that is that it gave me opportunity to see how other bigger organizations were able to set up their businesses, management and the rest of them, before making up my mind to take the bold step, right? So having taken the bold step for 10 years, it's quite interesting, no doubt. I've actually placed my hands on so many things. By profession, I'm a chartered accountant, and a chartered banker, a chartered tax practitioner, and a chartered economist. So professionally, I'm sound enough to advise.
Very well.
Taking it from the topic of today, which is practical. I'm also in practice. So I can tell you that you are talking to the right person.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, entrepreneurship. When we talk about entrepreneurship, we are talking about someone who has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It's not every person that has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. First of all, you must have the confidence. You must be innovative. You must be disciplined. There are so many factors, there are so many characteristics that you must exhibit that will qualify you to be a successful entrepreneur. Mark the word, successful entrepreneur. There are so many entrepreneurs out there who are not successful. So when you talk about entrepreneurs, you're talking about those that have succeeded. And it's for those that have not succeeded to ask themselves, why have they not succeeded? What makes you a successful entrepreneur? You must first understand what are those characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. And as we're talking about practical terms, in practical terms. So to be a successful entrepreneur in practice, first, you must ask yourself, what is your strength? You must first do SWOT analysis of yourself. You must know your strengths, you must know your weaknesses, you must see the opportunities around you, you must also observe the threats around you for every business that you want to venture into. You don't just wake up and say, oh, my friend has been an entrepreneur, I want to also be an entrepreneur. It doesn't work that way. You must first assess yourself, do you have what it takes? Are you risk averse? Are you afraid of taking risk? Do you have the confidence? Do you have the right discipline? Right? Now, the line of business you want to go into is very important. Someone is into business of media, and you are seeing him on TV every day, you see him on social media every day, and people are clapping for him. You don't wake up and say, I want to be like him. No, that's where a whole lot of entrepreneurs get it wrong.
So the next question I'd like to ask you is, looking at the challenges of today's entrepreneur, what would be your advice for aspiring entrepreneurs?
I want to bring it to Nigerian context. All right, because when we talk about entrepreneurs, we're looking at the whole world. But right now, let's look at Nigerian factor. All right. Challenges of today's entrepreneurs. 1, access to funding, access to capital. You know, there are many levels of entrepreneurs. I call it types of entrepreneurs. You have the small scale entrepreneurs, you have the large scale, you have social entrepreneurs, and many of them. But in all of that, most of them will tell you access to funds. All right? Presently, I'm aware there are so many opportunities that federal government has opened up in Nigeria. That's where we're looking at. You talk about CBN, you talk about Bank of Industry, and so many of the other banks. They have several schemes running for entrepreneurs. But of course, so many of the entrepreneurs will tell you that the processes of getting those things are cumbersome. They'll tell you, oh, you don't know this, you don't know that. Fine. These are things that happen. So it boils down to the same problem of access to funds. There's no way the federal government can give everybody money. There's no way CBN can give everybody money. I will advise, you're asking for my advice.
Exactly.
In the midst of these challenges, in the midst of the first challenge of access to capital, my advice to entrepreneurs is to do what? Is to think outside the box.
Okay.
When you think about setting up a business, don't put your mind straight down that your uncle is going to give you money, your father is going to give you money, the federal government is going to give you money. No. For you to make up your mind that you want to be an entrepreneur, you begin to think out of the box, which is one of the qualities you expected as an entrepreneur. You don't think straight. There are so many ways you could raise money. But I'll leave that. That's the topic for another day.
I would actually like you to dwell on that.
Yes, I'm going to dwell on that. There are so many ways you could raise money. Okay. But for you to agree with me, I'm a practical entrepreneur. I tell you the way it is. I tell you what operates in Nigeria. Because I live here, no money from any bank, no money from anybody. I worked out how I started. So I encourage every entrepreneur. First thing is to make up your mind you want to be an entrepreneur. Next thing is to understand that having made up your mind, there are certain hurdles you must cross. And for you to cross those hurdles, you must do what? You must know in your mind that the challenges there actually are herculean, but they are surmountable. To raise funds, think outside the box. I ran into a friend. Can I give you a case study?
Yeah, sure.
Someone came to my office and told me that he planned to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I said, what did you study in school? He said he studied mechanical engineering. I said, so why have you not become an entrepreneur up to now? How long have you been out of school? He said, 7 years. I said, and you've been doing what? He said he's been looking for someone to give him money to start a business. I said, you're not yet ready to start up a business. I said, what does he do? He said, fine. I said, where do you live? He said, he lives somewhere at Awaya. I said, can you identify any mechanic workshop there? You studied mechanical, automobile. He said, yes. I said, can you identify any mechanic workshop around there? He said, there are so many of them. I said, can you service a vehicle? Can you work on vehicles? He said, yes. And where he did his IT, he was put through all the things, servicing and fixing and stuff. I said, you are the one holding yourself. He said, how? He said, he's looking for money to buy tools, rent a place, do this. I say you're the one holding yourself. Because if you don't take the bold step, nobody may help you. I said, what do you need to do? Walk into any mechanic workshop. Introduce yourself to the owner of the workshop. You're a trained engineer and you want to do what? You want to work for him. You're working for him, propose. I want to work for him, not for salary, but on commission of whatever vehicle that you fix. He will never say no to you. And let him know that you are planned. From the beginning, you tell him you are planned. You want to set up your own business. You want to start up here so that you can raise money to buy your tools to start up your business when you're able to do that. And what you are bringing in, because there must be a value proposition. What you are bringing in now to his table is that you want to do what? To work for him on commission. You are to make sure that the customers are serviced properly so they come back again. And for every vehicle you do, you agree on a percentage that you earn. He said, with that work, I said, give it a trial. And 1 month down the line, he came into my office and said, it worked. He walked up to the place, he talked to the man, and the man asked him to start the next day. Something to me has worked. In fact, about the 10th, one of the customers he worked for asked him, why are you not running your own workshop? You are too good. I like your passion. I like the way you deliver your work. And he told the customer that my challenge I have is that the capital. I'm working here. I'm trying to work here on a partnership arrangement to save some money to start up my business. And the man asked him, how much exactly do you need? He told the man, he needed to buy tools. He buy this and that. And the man said, okay, he runs a business that has about 20 fleets of vehicles. So we can start up with you. What do? We make a deposit. We trust you. We can see you're a graduate. You have the professional skill. We are going to make a deposit of 500,000 naira. We have our arrangement. As you work for us, we deduct. And that was why he was able to have a space. He came to tell me less than 1 month that he has done what? He has started his own workshop. Practical entrepreneurship. Let's stop beating about the bush. Okay. There are so many ways people can start up when you talk about finance. All you need to do, if you don't have the right understanding, look out for people that can guide you on how you can start, depending on the kind of business you want to go into. But I must tell you that whatever kind of business you make up your mind to go into, there's always a way around it. Don't wait for anyone to help you. You can help yourself. That's on finance. The next thing is discipline. How disciplined are you? These are one of the challenges that we're having. So many entrepreneurs, they lack the right discipline. They don't have discipline. You have an entrepreneur who has set up a business in less than 3 months. He has made about 3 million naira. And the first thing he does is to go and buy a car and move to an apartment. And less than 6 months, he's down again. Discipline. When I talk about discipline, you have financial discipline, 1. Then you have what I call social discipline. So many entrepreneurs in Nigeria today, so many startup entrepreneurs, they lack discipline. They want to do what? They want to get to where someone spent 20 years to get. They want to get there in 3 months. Somebody walked into my office. I looked around and I said, oh God, this office is fine. I want to be like you. I said, do you know how many years it took me to get to where I am? He said, sir, I'm quite sure by this time next year I'll be like you. I said, I love your faith. However, I've just assessed you. I doubt if you can be like me because you lack the right discipline. And by the time I finished explaining to him, he agreed with me. What am I saying? I said, so many entrepreneurs in Nigeria lack the right discipline. I was talking to a young lady the other day who came to consult me. She had a supermarket running already for 2 years. And the supermarket is worth about 3 million naira. Now she had a bank's finance. The bank approached her that they could give her 10 million naira. Right? Now she called me and was asking me what brand of vehicle will she buy. I said, how? You have just one shop, worth 3 million naira. The bank is giving you 10 million naira loan, not dash, right? Not free funds. 10 million naira loan. And what is coming to your head is what brand of vehicle to buy. I say, young lady, if you want to listen to me as a practical entrepreneur, I will advise you to do what? Not ever think of buying a vehicle until you have 5 shops. 5 shops before you buy a vehicle. So one of the problems that young entrepreneurs, challenges that they have, is that they want to get to where Dangote is today in less than 6 months. And it's a major problem that we have in this country. Now we'll move to the next challenge that they have. I don't want to talk about the challenges caused by the environmental challenges or challenges caused by governments. Because what I don't want to talk about them is there's nothing you can do about it. Whether the government is doing well or is not doing well, the government is in place. Whether the environment is favorable or is not favorable, there's nothing. I'm looking at internal factors. These are external factors that are beyond you. You cannot control the government. So what do? What are those factors that are within you? What are those challenges that are within you? That's where I'm laying my emphasis on. Those challenges that are within your control. That's what I'm emphasizing on. Federal government, no doubt, based on openings, based on loans, grants, the federal government, CBN, Bank of Industry have opened up. All you need to do is take your time, pull up the processes, and you'll get there. But while pursuing that, don't rest on it because federal government cannot give money to everybody. So internally, ask yourself, how do you work around it in the midst of these challenges? So my emphasis is on internal factors that are within your control.
So, okay, that's very good to know. So the next question I want to ask you is that what are those ingredients that could make up a successful entrepreneur?
Fine. Generally, we're looking at general attributes. But from general attributes, depending on the nature of business you want to go into, there are some attributes that are peculiar to certain lines of business.
Okay.
But generally, to succeed as an entrepreneur, you must learn how to be disciplined. Very necessary. All right? You must have the right understanding. What I mean by the right understanding, you must understand ab initio that as an entrepreneur, you are meant to go through certain turbulent moments. So when those moments come, you don't fidget, you don't get worked up, you don't get discouraged. All right, that's what I mean by having the right understanding. Thirdly, as an entrepreneur, you must know that for you to succeed, there's a certain level of risk that you must take. Because in finance, you say the higher the risk, the higher the return. So if you're someone who doesn't like taking risk, all right? However, it's expected that you take calculated risk. That's what they call calculated risk. You don't just wake up and say, okay, oh, everybody is doing this, you jump into it. It doesn't work that way. So you must take calculated risk. But the key thing there is that there's risk in that decision. Okay. All right? For you to also succeed as an entrepreneur, you must also understand who you are. All right? If you're someone whose father is nobody, we're discussing in practical terms.
Yeah, practical.
Because you must understand there are people who don't have a name. And there are people who have names. If your father is Dangote, for instance, how you start will be different from when your father is in the village. So you must know who you are. And you allow it sink in your head, in your thoughts, in your actions, in your behaviors. You understand what I mean, right?
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Entrepreneur Doctor. Or do I rather change it to practical? Thank you very much. This is very, very insightful. But let's just quickly go on a quick break. And when we're back, we'll pick up from where we stopped. Stay with us. Welcome back. Wow, that's a very beautiful desert. So you can actually go for your safari cruise here in Nigeria at Yusufari Desert, just here, Yobe State. Meanwhile, let's go back to meeting Mr. Entrepreneur Doctor, so we'll continue with our conversation. So the next question I'd like to ask you is, how can entrepreneurs come together? You mentioned that he was trying to raise money to open his own, but how about him starting up and collaborating with this mechanic?
Okay, unfortunately, partnership has been a problem. Partnership business in Nigeria has not worked out very well. I know so many partnership businesses that have fallen apart because in the Nigerian context, so many partners are not sincere. So and that's why it looks as if everybody wants to be on his own.
Because there's a little challenge with that, because you see someone today, A is a fashionista, B is a fashionista. Like everybody is just trying to do the same thing differently. Yep. I think there should be a way to actually merge, because if we don't now, in a space of time, I just see everybody becoming an entrepreneur.
No, it's not possible. Why it's not possible? Everybody cannot be an entrepreneur. It's very simple. It's not every person that has the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial characteristics. So for sure, entrepreneurs will have people that will work for them. All right, there are people that are born employees. By their nature, they are risk averse.
So do you think entrepreneurship is innate? Is it inborn?
Of course. It's two ways. All right? There are people that are born entrepreneurs. You see them as they're growing up. You see the traits in them. They are born entrepreneurs. Right? The last place I worked, when I was in Oceanic Bank, I was an auditor, as a chartered accountant, I was in audit, right? I was traveling around the country, and it got to a point I was not satisfied with the comfort I was having. And I requested to be moved to marketing department. And everybody was like, are you normal? In audit, this is a comfort zone. But because I'm a born entrepreneur, I was not satisfied. Right? I requested to be moved to marketing. And when the HR rejected my request, it now occurred to me that what I submitted to them was a photocopy of my certificates. And I say I have my original. And what did I do? I walked away because I'm a born entrepreneur. And I moved to Konoyo. And in less than 1 week, I finished my interview in Konoyo and I got a job. And why I moved to Konoyo was because I wanted to work for them. I moved to Konoyo because it gave me a platform to do what? To stay in Lagos permanently, where I wanted to establish my business. Unlike at the bank, as an auditor, I was traveling around the country, I was not settled. So as an entrepreneur, you keep looking for that opportunity that will open doors for you. I moved to Corn Oil. I started my work. I was moved back to Lagos. Less than 3 months, the first business I started up, I leased a hotel. That hotel, there was no sign that it was for lease. I didn't know the owner. But as a born entrepreneur, I only went there to have a drink with a friend. And I observed there was a problem in the hotel. I identified the opportunity. So many entrepreneurs don't identify opportunities when they see them. So you have born entrepreneurs that are born. You have entrepreneurs that are trained. So if you don't have that natural inclination, you can actually undergo training. And in the course of the training, you build those traits that will make you a better entrepreneur. But there are people that have also undergone several trainings, yet they are not able to do well as entrepreneurs.
So you just define exactly where.
However, the trainings are not useless after all. Those trainings will help them to perform better as employees. Because I keep telling employees when I train them, I said, if you want to be the best entrepreneur, you must learn to put yourself on the other side, on the side of your boss. You must learn to think like an entrepreneur. And by so doing, you become the best employee. So what I'm saying in essence is that everybody must not be entrepreneurs. One, who have employees that by nature they are meant to be employees.
Thank you very much. I think I'll continue saying thanks because this interview has been very insightful. But then for the purpose of people watching this show, could you please tell us who Dr. Chuks Okosi really is and what makes you tick?
Well, Dr. Chuks Okosi, as you rightly said earlier, is a multipreneur. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, a fellow of ICANN, 13 years practicing. I started my career in the banking industry, where I put in about 7 years. Then moved into Corn Oil, which is an oil servicing firm, where I put in 2 years before starting up my business. I'm the chairman of GNB Group. GNB Group comprises of GNB Consulting, GNB Magazine, GNB News, GNB School. I'm also CEO of BCC Promotion. BCC Promotion is a promotion company, business promotion company that ventures into business advertising, ventures into identifying business concepts, converting into content. BCC Promotion will encourage people that have ideas to come to us to fine-tune the ideas and amplify it into better business contents. I'm also the CEO of Blue Sword Group. Blue Sword Group had so many other subsidiaries. I'm a businessman. And most importantly, I'm a consultant in human capital development. I'm a consultant in business advisory. I'm a consultant in financial advisory. And I'm not stingy at all with my knowledge. I'm available. You call on me and I will answer you.
So you're saying our viewers can always reach you
very well,
answer them.
And they'll get the right advice from a man who is in practice.
Thank you very much, Entrepreneur Doctor, for coming on this show. It's been a wonderful hangout with you on the GNB moment. So this is the end for this episode. Till we come your way next time, stay with us. But meanwhile, we're not leaving yet. I want to walk you through the second segment of this show, which is the Buff Buff Business Directory. Thank you and bye.